darling. Tonight, I hope you have your dumb astronomy questions ready. I'm so excited to welcome to the stage Dr. Laird! I know, I'm sure he's on his way. What a sensation. Doctor, fool, can I get the house lights up a little?
Hi. Class is in session. Thank you for coming this late in the semester. The finals will be tomorrow, and those of you who have come to review the term's work, I welcome you. And those of you who have come who are auditing, I ask you earnestly to turn off your cell phones because I'm going to need the bandwidth. Okay? So, that being said, this is Dr. Laird asking you to ask Dr. Laird your stupid astronomy questions. In order to do that, we have prepared a syllabus for the occasion. It's your class notes, and they're right here. However, there's no bandwidth in this room. So if you are auditing the class, please turn off your cell phones in the fond hope that you will be able to access the full semester's worth of notes on that screen. I have no hope that you're going to be able to do that whatsoever. Try. Give it a shot. Let me know if anybody gets through. Okay, we have a winner over there. Do we have any other winners? Okay, now the purpose of this data that you have there is to tell you what you missed while you were dancing and laughing and doing all the other things that you do aside from attending the class. So now is your opportunity to ask the stupid questions that you failed to ask during the entire semester. So with that being said, who would like to consult these notes and ask from these notes some question pertinent to the topic of astronomy? Do I have a volunteer?
Well, I have a question. Right?
Yes, you, a volunteer.
I can see from your notes it says Uranus is tilted on its side.
Yes, Uranus is tilted on its side.
And the moons are tilted as well.
And the moons are tilted on its side.
How the fuck can you tell something's tilted on its side?
Okay, I'm not going to use the F word because this is being recorded for my grandchildren. Okay, thank you very much. So how can you know it's tilted on its side? Okay, the Earth is tilted in spinning in perpendicular to the plane of the solar system. You see, at a 23-degree angle, basically like that. And Mars doing the same, and Jupiter doing the same 23-degree angle, something like that, to the plane of the solar system. Uranus, it's like that, tilted, pointing at the sun, and occasionally away from the sun. And occasionally the back end is facing away from the sun. So it is on its side. And the moons are on the side too, which is the weird thing. Because it's easy to tilt a planet. All you got to do is smash into it with another planet. But when you do that, you don't tilt the moons at the same time. So the hard part is how do you tilt the moons when you're smashing into a planet? And that's a mystery. So that's why I put it in there. Okay, thank you for that question. And that's not fully answered.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a first question. Can we have a second question?
Shout it out, shout it out.
Yeah, shout it out.
I want. Do you think? I want your perspective on the moon landing. Do you think that America faked it because they was racing with Russia, or it's some real?
Okay, did we fake it? It happens to be in the notes. Do you have the notes in front of you? Okay, it's in the notes. So we didn't fake the moon landing, and it's actually answers in the notes. It says, how do we know we didn't fake the moon landing? There's actually a video which proves we didn't fake the moon landing, and nobody's ever seen it when I say nobody's ever seen it, I mean I hadn't seen it before until recently. And what it was or is one of the Apollo astronauts took a pendulum, same kind of pendulum on the Earth, and swung it. And the pendulum, because the moon gravity is 1/6, went instead of and when you speed up the pendulum so it goes at Earth speed, the astronauts are doing this. They're moving 2.5 times faster than they do on Earth. So literally, you can't fake that in a Hollywood studio. It can't be done unless they're moving around like crazy. They didn't. They actually landed on the moon. There's the proof for you. You like it?
Yeah.
You like it. Good. Okay. Do we have another volunteer?
Doctor.
Yes. Yes.
I'm curious. It's something we had discussed before, and I wanted to bring it up with you. But there was a discussion in the center of our galaxy,
Yes.
would smell. What was it? Was
Like
raspberry.
raspberry.
Or is that true?
Well, does the center of the galaxy smell like raspberries? First of all, if you open your spacesuit visor to smell it, there would be no chance that you could smell raspberry. So you would have to, if you will concentrate, the concentration of molecules up there is like 1 per cubic centimeter. Now, in this room, there's 10 to the 23rd molecules per cubic centimeter, more or less. And so you have to concentrate the stuff and then sniff it. And whether it smells like raspberry or not, I'm not sure. Yes, they call it polyaromatic hydrocarbons. And so, yeah, it smells like something. And there's another word for those things that they call tholins, and that's a word that Carl Sagan invented. So, yeah, it could smell like anything. Okay.
Carl Sagan.
Go. What?
I also speaking of Sagan, I'm sort of
Yes.
So you have a personal connection. Would that be fair to use the word personal?
I have a personal connection, yes.
With Carl Sagan.
With Carl Sagan,
What
yes.
is that connection that you have to Carl Sagan?
He gave me my PhD. And he did. And he did. He did give me my PhD. He did. And he said, more or less, are you sure you want this? And I said, yes, I worked for it, but thank you very much, but I don't want a job. And so I never worked as an astronomer ever since. I do stand-up now, which is basically the result of having no money in astronomy after I left it. So this is all I got. Can I have another question?
Okay, so what everything compacted, right?
Everything compacted
And then expanded.
and then expanded.
So what happened at the beginning? If that just keeps happening
Where did you get the everything compacted part?
from the science?
No, in the beginning there was virtually. There was a Big Bang,
Yeah.
but before there was a Big Bang, there was no TV, so nobody knew what happened before. So there was no compacting element before the Big Bang, and then it exploded. Actually, that is correct. It expanded. The Big Bang is not an explosion. The Big Bang is an expansion. The Big Bang, as it's named, was in fact a misnomer assigned to it by the people who believed in the steady state theory and were trying to give it a bad name. So it's the big expansion. So there's no big contraction before it. Thank you. Is there more to that question?
What was it before then, I guess?
What was it before then? I will have to consult the gods for that one because nobody knows. Thank you.
We got one. Shout it out, darling. Shout it out.
A number of years ago, I remember the James Webb Space Telescope being
Webb.
launched, which was supposedly the most powerful.
Not even the most, supposedly it is the most powerful.
Yeah, well, I'm curious, a number of years later, what have we discovered from that?
In other words, why did we bother to put a gigantic telescope 1 million miles from Earth and spend $10 or $11 billion to do it? What's the point? Right? That's a basic question?
Yeah, I mean, I want to know what we've learned.
We learned that the universe is not exactly what we thought it was. I mean, we want to know what happened at the beginning, right? That's what previous question was about. And in order to do that, you have to look back in time. And in order to look back in time, you have to look back in wavelengths. The wavelength that we're good at is visible light. The wavelength that the James Webb is good at is infrared. The universe has basically been talking to us in the infrared ever since the beginning of time, or actually from the beginning of time. And now, if we want to see what it's all about, we have to look in the infrared, which is what it does. Which is why it's 1,000,000 miles from Earth and cooled to almost absolute zero, so it can see in the infrared. And what it sees is further back in time. And we are learning how the universe put itself together. And it was not as we expected. There are things that we didn't see coming, which is happy always. And now we see it coming, and then there's thousands of astronomers who are happily employed explaining what it is we're seeing. And what we're seeing is the early universe did things we didn't expect, which is it made galaxies earlier and brighter than we ever thought coming. So that's one result. There are thousands of results, of which there's not enough time to tell you them all, and not to mention the fact that I don't know them all, but that's one.
Who's your least favorite astronomer?
Good
Who's my least favorite astronomer? Michel Kaku, that guy. But there's another least favorite astronomer. There's a guy named Avi Loeb, and he's a cuckoo, but he's also smart, and he's got a tenured professorship at Harvard. So what he's doing is both cuckoo and scientific. He's saying there's aliens, pretty much, maybe not. But what he's doing that's scientific is really cool. You know all those people who are like taking pictures of UFOs with their cell phones? Yeah. Like none of them? We don't have a decent picture of a UFO taken by anybody, especially those guys in the cornfields. Nobody has a picture of a UFO. So what is Avi Loeb doing? He's saying, I made some money by talking up UFOs. I've got millions of dollars, and guess what I'm doing with it? I'm setting up cell phones all around the United States, pointing at the sky with artificial intelligence, and if it sees a UFO, it'll snap a picture. So this guy is the only guy in the history of UFOs that's actually looking for it with an actual scientific instrument. So he's also my most favorite guy, because he might find something. If we have UFOs flying through the atmosphere at all times, he's going to find one. That's cool.
Yeah. That is such a fascinating way to do it, because like they've been tracking whales using a similar technology. They've been tracking whale tails.
Whale tails.
Because each whale tail is unique as a fingerprint. So they're able to track where are these whales migrating by taking pictures of their tails.
Taking pictures, but the thing is that in order to take a picture of a whale tail, you have to be there.
Yes.
And what he's doing is he's putting it in his backyard. And just pointing the thing up and saying, if there's anything coming, I'll see it. Whereas if you want to see a whale tail, you have to sort of be hovering over it, so it's a lot harder to do on a continuous 24/7 basis, so harder.
Well, I guess too, as a follow-up to that is, what is your stance on there being other life in the universe?
Other life in the universe. Thank you for asking that question. Yes. That could be the substance of the rest of the evening, if you want to do it. Right. So first of all, I'd like to ask those of you who are in attendance in this class to voice your opinion as to whether or not you believe there's aliens who have already visited us by a shout out. Aliens that have already visited us, yell out.
Yeah. Applause for aliens visited.
Okay. So we have essentially a majority here who agreed that it's already visited us. And do you have any proof?
Do I have proof that they did?
What?
That they didn't?
It's just your opinion, right?
I think that there is most definitely multiverses, and there's other
multiverses. Multiverses is a different topic. Those are
astronomy.
not astronomy. It's definitely astronomy, but it's a different topic with which we also don't know shit. Okay. Right. So and then those of you who think that we have not been visited, can I hear that? So basically, you're all of the agreement that aliens have visited us. So on that basis, why haven't they contacted us? Anybody?
Oh, wait. This might go to the Fermi paradox.
Yes, it exactly goes to the Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
There's a guy by the name of Fermi. He's since dead, and he was the first guy to split the atom, by the way. And he was sitting around the room with a couple of other people who also split the atom, and they're all sitting around. They're really, geniuses, high-level geniuses. And he asked the question, "Where is everybody?" And because they were all high-level geniuses, they all understood what he meant. And what he meant is, if aliens could exist, why aren't they here right now? And that's a very good question with an interesting, a lot of answers.
Yeah.
A lot of answers. So for example, one answer, and I happen to like this answer because it's annoying, is the reason they're not here is because there aren't any. And that is a phenomenon called the Great Filter. The Great Filter is a catchphrase which is designed to catch all the possible reasons why we are unique. And we are very, 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 got a little bit more varies, very unique. For example, what makes us very unique? Or a couple more. We have a moon. The moon stabilizes the axis of the Earth's orbit, rotation. So what happens is, instead of the Earth's axis doing that and this and that, and all sorts of horrible things which could fry us and toast us and turn us into steam at any given time, or freeze our asses off at another time, we have a moon to keep us from doing that. And it's been doing that nicely for 4 billion years, more or less. So the moon, how many planets, Earth-like planets out there in the universe have moons? Well, they may have them, but nothing is quite as good as our moon, because our moon, thank you very much, was created because another planet, not moon, but a planet hit our planet and threw off our moon. So that's unusual.
Our moon is us?
Our moon is made of the same stuff that we are made of. And you know how I know that? They went there, picked up some rocks, brought it back and said, same stuff.
Yeah, we haven't that.
Right. It's not the same as meteors. Yes.
Do you believe that the aliens,
I don't answer, do you believe questions?
No.
Do I know?
that the other beings don't, it's not on another planet, it's on our planet, it's under the sea.
What, I didn't get the question. Is it what under the sea?
That these beings.
Oh, are all these beings underneath the sea?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. You should check it out on your dime, but I'm not going there.
No, I have.
Oh, you have?
You.
Oh, no, that's not science. That's fantasy. It's a very good movie, by the way, if you want to check it out. It's called The Abyss. The Abyss, yes.
We said it at the same time.
Right.
We said,
Yeah.
I know,
But otherwise, there's nothing involved. The Abyss is a very good movie if you want to believe that there's aliens living in the sea. And I love that movie to death.
Well, it's inner space as opposed to outer space.
That's it. Yes.
This might be
Wait, yes.
One at a time.
This might be too much of an opinion question, but
Yes.
what to you
Yes.
is kind of crazier and more unlikely? The idea that we are truly the only ones out here, or that there must be some kind
Okay,
of
so here's the thing. The ability to know how many extant. That means now.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know the word. The number of extant civilizations in the galaxy, and I notice I'm being careful and saying not universe, okay? Because by the way, there are an accountable number, 2 trillion
Yes.
galaxies. I'm only talking about this one, and this one's called the Milky Way, and in this Milky Way we have 400 billion stars, and there is estimated 20 billion Earth-like planets. That's a real estimate. That's not a guess. That's a real estimate based upon real statistics, so it could be off by 10, 20%, like that. But it's a number. 20 billion Earth-like planets, okay? And then you ask the question, of those 20 billion Earth-like planets, what's the chances of them having got to where we are? Well, those 20 billion Earth-like planets, the Milky Way's been around for about 11 billion years. So those Earth-like planets could conceivably have given birth to intelligent life and then wipe themselves out again and again and again in the billions and billions of years that it took to reach us now. So most of the intelligent beings in this galaxy are dead, if they ever existed. So that leaves a small smattering of the ones that are left that haven't quite killed themselves. And we represent the only example of whether or not the universe is, the aliens out there are going to kill ourselves. The only way we know that we're not going to kill ourselves is to look out there and see if there's another alien. Because if there's an alien civilization out there that hasn't killed itself, chances are it's millions of years older than us. So the first thing we want to know is, first question we have for those aliens is, how'd you do it? Because we have no clue. Because our chances of making it to next Wednesday is sort of slim, because it takes about 20, 30 minutes for a nuclear missile to basically wipe us and everybody else out. So we're within 20, 30 minutes or Armageddon. Armageddon. I never can get that word right. Right.
One second, there's a gentleman over here.
Yes, we have.
Gentleman over here keeps trying to ask us, get us. What I got?
Yes.
Out of pure, genuine curiosity.
Yes, that's good. Curiosity is
Is
good.
there like a United States immigration policy in case aliens do come to Earth?
Is there an immigration policy in case in case aliens come to Earth? On what level of facetiousness is that question?
Like, it was very tough for me to get here. I think.
So you're actually asking for personal experience?
But,
You might be the last one let in.
I mean-
There's really, we don't have an immigration policy for aliens. That's totally science fiction, you know.
do you think is that why they don't come here?
Is that what? No, they don't come. Why don't they come? So that presupposes the idea that they're out there already and they're choosing not to visit us. That's called, that actually has a name, because there's about 100 different theories, and that's one of them. And that's called the zoo hypothesis. And in that hypothesis, they're out there, but they choose not to visit us for various reasons. And one of them is, they're doing the Star Trek thing where they're not contaminating alien civilizations until they reach the interstellar travels phase of their civilization. That's one possibility. The other one is they don't want to tell us that they exist because we're going to go and kill them, which is more likely why they don't want to visit us. But whatever the reason is, they're not visiting us because they want to keep us separate from them.
But when you say us, do you mean planet Earth or just the
Oh no,
United States?
just us in New York City, more or less, because we are. If there's anybody they want to visit, it's people in New York City. We are a very mixed group of people. They should come here. If they're going to go anywhere, they should come here. Really, not Kansas. That's absurd. Here, you walk among us in New York City, nobody notice. You know?
This guy's wild.
Right. I see a hand up, but I can't see the hand.
I have a question.
You have a question?
Okay, so, first, okay.
Okay.
First off, I believe, sorry to piggyback off of what you said, but I
That's
do
fine.
feel like that if there was a precedent for aliens coming here, it would be off of the precedent of the current immigration policy. But to piggyback off of your point, I'm wondering how much did the UAP testimony in front of Congress contribute to science and academia?
How much did the UAP testimony in front of Congress contribute to science and academia? I believe first of all, I don't know, and B, I don't think very much, because but it did contribute to the fact that we don't know anything about instead of UFO, they call it unidentified aerial phenomenon. So they don't know what it is because it's up in the sky, but we don't know what it is. It could be in our cameras for all that we know. And some of those artifacts are in the cameras. So we don't know what it is in the first place. But I don't think it's contributed very much to our knowledge at all. I think it's made it okay to talk about it, which is really important. It's called Breakthrough Listen, and they're spending like $100 million listening to the sky. And the fact that they've been funded for a period of 10 years means that it's okay to talk about aliens in front of Congress and ask for money. So that's the value of it. It made it okay to talk about it. But in terms of what they learned, I don't think they learned anything about it.
Doctor, you've got about 2 minutes.
I got 2 minutes.
I've got a question too.
Yes.
This one is adjacent, but it's about coming here and performing in general too.
Yes.
What has motivated you to start doing sets like this, coming out and allowing us to ask you our stupid astronomy questions?
What's motivating me to do this?
Yes.
Okay, it's very, very simple. Nobody else on planet Earth will listen to me. That's my wife, my friends. No, seriously. This is it. I gotta do this. I gotta do it. You have to do this. I have been doing this now for 18 years in various forms. And I can't stop. I have stuff to say. And you only gave me a half hour. I could do a semester standing here with occasional refreshments of drink and food. I've got it all ready to go. Just ask me more questions, I'll tell you more answers.
He's got a question.
What was your favorite part of Burning Man?
What was my favorite part of Burning Man? How did you know I went to Burning Man?
You went to Burning Man.
I did go to Burning Man, but how do you ask?
You told me you went to Burning Man.
Oh, I told you I went to Burning Man.
The Burning
You
Man.
got fans here.
Okay, my favorite part of Burning Man, what was it? Oh, my favorite part of Burning Man. So I was on the way to see the Toasted Titties Parade. On the playa. But I was derailed by a naked woman who had Schrodinger's, from the waist up, who had Schrodinger's equations written on her back and who offered me a series of one after the other high quality malt liquors. So instead of going to see naked women, I just stood in front of one and drank myself silly. And that was my favorite part of Burning Man. So I will be doing this forever. Thank you all for coming. And this will be on YouTube. You look on YouTube for my first and last name, Laird Whitehill, and you will find this video of what we just did on there within a week. You can see it again and again and again. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Dr. Laird. Awesome. Great job. Oh my gosh. We've got some notes from the course. I'm going to keep these over here in case you want to take one home for later. Can we get a round of applause for Dr. Laird? Wow.
Thank you.
You know, I think coming here to Cuckoo's Open Mic, you never know what you're going to see or who you're going to see. And wasn't that fucking awesome? Wasn't that so good? I find for myself, in coming here and doing this that I think getting on this stage is an act of brave lunacy. And I have so much respect for all of you who come up here and do this. And so here's a toast to all of you. All right, let me see how I do. For all you nuts who have the guts to get up on this stage and share your art, nerve, brains, and heart, you're all heroes on my page. I come here every Wednesday, and you do for the life we choose. So I raise my glass, you motivate my ass. Here's to all of you cuckoos.